Welcome back. Now, let's look at what's on the front pages and back pages of the newspapers, beginning with the Daily Graphic. The front page story says, tap water contains toxins. That's according to a report from the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. We're told Ghana's water has some algae in them there. And if you turn to the back page, there's some sports stories there. Kotoko cruise to quarterfinals in the MTN FA Cup, and Okwawu shock has smile. That's the story on the front page of the Daily Graphic. And the Daily Guide has Ningo Chiefs reject some George sheep. It comes with a photograph of George, who's kneeling down and has also the ram here, expected to be that was sent to the chief's house. And then football wife in sex videos, also BNI chases Nana's boys. That's the Daily Guide. The Today newspaper has alarm blows, 73,900 missing from NPP's fundraising account. That's on the front page of the Today newspaper. Group warns finance minister over Eurobond cash, and we're told that Globe is being dragged to court. Some sports stories captured on the back page of the Today newspaper. My guest already seated, Kwame Agboja is a member of parliament for Adaklu of the NDC. He to my right, extreme right, next to me is Madam Kathleen Adi, a communications consultant. And then to my left is a member of parliament for Futu, Honorable Alex Afenyo Markin. Gentlemen and lady, I'm grateful for your time this morning. Thanks so much for joining me. Great. Now, this story about tap water containing toxins, that's a report from the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. The story says that a research conducted by that body has established Ghana's water treatment systems are incapable of removing algae toxins. Now, we're told that Ghana has a conventional type of water treatment system that is unable to remove the algae toxins. Most of the sources of fresh water drawn to treatment plants, we're told, were very high in algae growth. Now, the reasons, according to the body, is that there is illegal mining, there's farming along river banks, and then people swim in the rivers. So the council is urging all stakeholders not to be part of the scheme to protect water bodies from these toxins. We're told that that's a worrying situation there. That's a research from CSIR. Let me start with Kwame. Welcome again. Now, this perhaps has been going on for quite a long time. If we've been drinking from the same source, we're told the same water bodies that we're treating contains these substances, and illegal mining, we're told farming along river banks, and also the fact that people swim and bath in the water. Now, it means that, of course, we've been taking this water that perhaps is dangerous to our system.
Thank you very much, and good morning to my colleagues, and then especially, and also the good morning to the people of Adaklu. I think, to be honest, I haven't read the story that much, but I know for sure that the ways by which what we call potable water gets to our home is in diverse ways. I'll be surprised that at the level of treatment that there are still, impurities or things that ought not to be in the water. Remain there and they are distributed. I doubt it. However, I know that if you go around this country, you will notice sometimes even along the road, you see best pipelines. Well, once the water can come out, it means other things can go in, because some of these best pipes can be in a swampy area. So I think that the CSIR report should be read in a sense that I can understand what they are saying, that apart from everything, I know for sure, because we've been briefed in Parliament a couple of times, as to why it is getting more expensive to treat water that comes through to us because of the level of pollution of the water. Because sometimes you think you are just treating the water for maybe algae, but now you're treating it, you have to treat the water for other things, especially maybe coming from mining areas and other things. So I don't want, consumers this morning to think that all the water they've been using and all the water they've got this morning is polluted with algae, because algae is one of the easiest things to treat in terms of water pollution.
But we're told by the research that our system of treatment, a conventional one, is unable to get rid of algae.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I would doubt that if they can tell. So are they telling us that all the water we drink is got algae in it? I doubt it. I mean, the CSR will have to prove to me that when you even have water from like the desalination water project at Teshi, has also got that one in it. I mean, it's just. I mean, if water in somebody's water is a borehole water, like we drill a borehole, treat it and distribute it, algae is in that one as well. I mean, they should. I mean, I'm not. Whilst I will not pretend I'm an expert in water treatment. I'm just saying that overgeneralizing this, saying that all the water we have got has got algae in it. I think CSR watching this program knows that is overflogging the issue.
Kathleen, do you also think so?
I mean, I think that even if there's toxins in one drop of water is unacceptable. The CSR is a very credible institution. Right. I mean, they've been around for a long time. And I don't think that if they come out to say that there's a problem with the drinking water, it's something that we should take lightly, or we should dismiss, or we should water down. I think it's a very serious thing. The problem is, according to the article, the problem with the algae is that it has these toxins, right? And the toxins are poisonous for human beings. I mean, some of these toxins. So you see that there's such an explosion in liver disease, for instance. You know, you don't know how these things are linked, but I think that as a people, all citizens deserve clean water. So even if it's, all I'm saying is that we must take it very seriously. We must not dismiss it. They must come up with ways in which we can, address this thing and have it fixed. And then we must be up and doing in fixing it. That being said, the problem with galamsey, because galamsey was also noted as one of the reasons why there's this blooming of algae in the water bodies. And in the past couple of weeks, I have seen the Birim River, the Ankobra River. It's really terrible what we're doing to ourselves. I mean, the water is life. You cannot replace it. And the rivers are all muddy, and it's terrible. I don't know what and how that thing can be resolved. But if it's not resolved, this is just the beginning. We will kill ourselves. It may be one drop today. It's not everybody today. But if we keep going at this rate, we don't put in any interventions, definitely we will have a serious problem on our hands in the very near future.
Right. Kari, I'll come back to you, but let me go to Mr. Afenyo Markin. So the concerns that the water from a certain part, for instance, rivers that are treated, have these substances. Mr. Kwame Agboja is arguing that perhaps we're taking the issue, we're generalizing it and saying that tap water contains toxins. But Kathleen thinks that we should see it as a serious problem.
Well, it's a serious matter for national debates, and I believe that my brother made his point because, like he said, he hadn't read the story. But I think the CSR was specifically making its findings known. Right. That look, most water bodies where Ghana Water Company rely on are sort of compromised. We've had this issue in Parliament. You recall somewhere early part of the year, in my constituency, we're not getting water from upstream. Ayensu was drying up, and one of the issues was this galamsey. In Sawom, Aduajiri, the same thing across the country. Now, this is not the first time we're getting a report like this, but it appears that we either take matters political and would not want to deal with it, or that we, the political leaders, are not serious about some of these things that affect the very country we want to govern. When the issue of galamsey came up, I was a bit taken aback when some colleagues privately told me that, look, if it had been my area, you wouldn't have survived the next 24 hours. And virtually my friends who were coming from these areas feared ever talking about it. They, if you are a political leader and you know the thing is a problem, you don't want to talk about it because of politics, then we are in trouble. I am not surprised this is coming out because it's a reality anyway. But I would want to urge leadership. Mr. President has a constitutional mandate and Article 257 of the Constitution. All these natural resources are vested in the president, and his ministry, the ministry in charge of environment should take this matter up. The Natural Resources Ministry, Land, must also take this up. All enforcement agencies must work on this matter. Are we serious about ending Galamsey? We're here, Chinese came down, but I tell you, they are still around. And Galamsey does not only affect water bodies, it affects cocoa. I've said it time without number. That my own great-grandfather's cocoa farmer at Asin, somewhere, one of the Asin villages. My cousins came to me, asking me to give them money to buy, go and hire a machine excavator, because people were cutting down their cocoas. We are aware in this country that because of Galamsey, people are cutting down their cocoa trees. We are not getting the needed yield. We are not talking about it. Chiefs have spoken about this matter. Now look, our water bodies are drying up. We are investing so much, and I commend government investing so much in water expansion. But it becomes a nullity if at the end of the day you are unable to get that water to supply. Ghana Water Company has complained that they are unable to get proper treatment because of the toxins. If you go on the internet, there are countless articles on Galamsey and its effect. Our water bodies being polluted is something that we know. So yes, I agree with Kwame that we shouldn't overflow the matter. I agree. But this is a serious matter. That is where I think that what my sister said must also be seriously considered. Right. Even a drop of water which is polluted for one person's consumption is a serious matter. We all, of late, go to hospitals, people have serious ailments here and there, cancer here, cancer there. Nobody has taken the time to find out what really is the problem. So if CSIR, a very credible institution, the water research unit has come out with this, it needs political support. We are in an election year. Can leadership commit themselves to helping save our water bodies and ending Galamsey? It's a very serious matter because it will not only affect Birim and Ankobra. Efutu people would also suffer because water must flow downstream to the Ayensu for my people to get water. And if they don't get it, well,
I want us to stay a little longer on this because part of the story is suggesting that the council is saying that the research was done in 2010 and it is only warning because it is suspecting that more waste is being dumped into water bodies now. Sure. Now, let's try and situate the conversation around this one. Like Kwame said, we need to be cautious. The council is saying 2010 we did a report. We are now warning because we suspect that more waste is being dumped into water bodies. Based on that, perhaps what Kwame is saying, we should take very good notice of that.
Which of his submissions?
The fact that the report is generalizing that every water.
I don't think so.
We're drinking.
But if in 2010 we had a bad situation,
right,
and there is no record of some specific interventions to address those specific situations. I mean, what are you going to assume 2 years down the line that is getting better? How can it get better a bit, by itself? It's probably getting worse. You understand what I mean? Logically, 2010, you do a research. You find out that there's a problem with the water. There's no intervention to address that specific problem with the water. What do you think is going to happen here 2-3 years down the line? It's probably getting worse. I think we shouldn't run away from this. I think this is not one of those things that we should argue about. If it's bad, it's bad. Toxins is actually poison.
Right.
Do you understand? The water, or as Honorable said, some parts of the water is poison. Is that okay? It's not okay. Like I said, even one drop is a very serious thing. A lot of people drink tap water. A lot of people drink, and even for those who drink bottled water and sachet water, they all get it from the same source.
Right.
You understand? But if you are not, so for instance, the people who make bottled water and sachet water, are they considerate of toxins from algae? When they do water treatment, do they treat for that? We don't know. You understand what I mean? So we have to take it seriously, we have to try and not be dismissive about it. Like I said, one drop of water that is poisoned in the public water system is not acceptable.
It's a worry. Kwame, let's tie this into this conversation. Now, Mr. Afenyomakin talks about Galamsey, a big issue. The problem is that it is the leadership of this country, and when I say leadership, I don't mean political leadership, that who owe these excavators that are engaged in Galamsey. In fact, it is same leadership who are bringing the Chinese into this part of the world to do legal mining. And so the blame should go to them.
Well, I think Galamsey obviously is probably the biggest polluter today. Like both of my colleagues said, if you were to take maybe a snapshot of a river from above 10 years ago and you do that today, you would have thought you are looking at a completely different river. It is true that, like my brother said, much of this is not about government going to arrest people, because believe me, they have arrested a lot. And everybody knows we nearly got ourselves into trouble with the Chinese because we deported as much as possible. In fact, they get them, they put them on the next flight away. But guess what? The Chinese are not getting there in the night. They are taken there by the landowners. Otherwise, we would have seen landowners going to the police station to report that somebody is illegally removing my cocoa farm. But you don't see that report at the police station because they are in connivance with the Chinese to do that. If, for instance, I'm committing a crime within the confines of my space, which is not visible to somebody, what chance does the police have if I don't go and make the complaint or somebody doesn't make the complaint? So, like she says, I have read a CIA report which says that the next big war that will happen in this world will not be about crude oil, will be about shortage of water. So it is important for all of us to take it and deal with it. All I'm just saying is that I don't believe that we wake up this morning and CSIR can put their hand on their chest and say that every single cup of water that will be drawn from a tap in Ghana is polluted with algae. I'm not saying, I agree, even a drop of water polluted is bad, but I'm saying that to generalize it is wrong, because I know that at the treatment level, and by the way, some of the things we've done to our water treatment these days is state of the art. We have some of the best ways of treating water. However, from the treatment point and the distribution is also another matter. People see water gushing out of the side of their street and they think it's normal. I'm saying that when the water can go out, something also can go in. And also the illegal connection, because you see, under normal circumstances, when you apply to connect water to your house, Ghana Water needed to come and do the right things, make sure that the things are done well. But assuming somebody is doing like people do with illegal electricity connection, all these things can potentially introduce problems into. But if the water leaves the treatment plant clean, there's very little Ghana Water can do. If you tap the water illegally or burst the pipe and get them, there's very little they can do. That comes back to what the citizens' responsibility also is, because ever so often we think that government can solve every problem, and I say that no. If Ghana Water treated the water properly, put it in a pipe, and you illegally go and tap and use the wrong connections and introduce some debt into it, there's very little government can do about it. We also should take some responsibility. I'm not absolving Ghana Water from not doing a good job by treating the water, but I'm saying that we also have responsibility.
Mr. Afenyomakin, so dealing with this Galamsey issue, you politicians, you owe these excavators. In fact, it is. I mean, it's been found out that almost every politician around certain places, Chebi, where Galamsey is, Western region particularly, these excavators are owned by politicians.
In your earlier question, the preamble was that you don't mean political leadership.
Exactly.
You mean leadership.
Yes.
Hold on. But now you've narrowed it.
Exactly.
I'm unable to associate myself with the fact that politicians own excavators for illegal mining activities. I'm unable to. But be that as it may, let's look at it from the point of view of Kwame, that we need the collective effort of all. A chief must know that he must not give his backyard for the purpose of illegal mining.
Right.
I also hold the view that political leadership has the constitutional mandate to enforce the laws of this country. Mr. President, per Article 257, has what it takes to get the law enforcement agencies, his sector ministers, to end galamsey. It's illegal and it's illegal simplicity. But let me come down to a very specific point, and I just doing so because I want to be fair to CSIR with respect to their findings. I would just want to read something here. From what they have reported, they are saying that if you look at the water, if it explained that Ghana Water Company only tested the treated water for bacteria, not toxins from algae, and that was why the company said it was potable. So, well, you get potable water, but Ghana Water Company, according to the report, if you read the preceding paragraph, it says that those machines, those equipment that have been accredited by World Health Organization were put in place at the time we didn't have this problem.
Right.
So it means that there's a fundamental issue that Ghana Water Company treats water but not for algae. It's a serious matter, which needs intervention from the state. Serious investment ought to be made there so that they will treat our water with algae. And I think that would address the concerns that all of us have this morning. So, yes, you cannot blame one person and say that, oh, it is this government. That's why I didn't mention the NDC and all that. But we need to see this as a problem. Unfortunately, we've not had the commitment or the willpower to enforce our laws consistently. Yes, it could be a 9-day wonder, one-off effort. You put a team together, deport them, but they come again. You put a team together, do this, but the chiefs will go there, our own locals will tell you we need employment and all that. There's no job, so we are doing galamsey. But we should not only look at the effect of galamsey on our water bodies. Okay? There's a spiral effect. Agriculture, cocoa, it affects industry and many others. So it is important we look at it as a serious matter, and I would expect that IEA, NCC, and other civil society organizations would press home this issue of protecting our water bodies by making it an issue in our elections. I expect them seriously, because you see, if we all commit ourselves to this, that we want to protect our water bodies, we want to ensure that there's a new enforcement regime that all parties, all stakeholders will respect, we would be able to get somewhere. And I never saw this as a serious problem until my people in Efutu started having problems with water. So to me, this is a very serious matter. It's not a partisan matter. It's a national crisis. The minister came to give assurances on the floor of the House. Members debated this matter. Members were serious about it. But unfortunately, our colleagues from the galamsey areas could not debate. And like privately,
because they own the equipment that are engaged in it. It's just a matter of not mentioning names. But
right, that one I cannot say that for a fact. If you have your evidence or there's some presumption, that is your own. But I'm saying that at least one of the reasons they gave privately was that, look, a lot of people are engaged in this. It's a landmine. If I ever speak against them, they won't vote for me. And you should understand that all politicians...
The people cannot buy the 6 million CD excavator. They can't buy it. It is bought for them by someone.
No, all I want to say is that politics, sometimes you consider these things. There are things that you know it may not be right. But you fear also that politically it wouldn't be appropriate to deal with it. But once there's a consensus, there's a national drive that this is bad, from both sides, all stakeholders are involved, it then will cease to be a political matter that somebody would judge you by and say, you came to stop galamsey, or you were attacking us that were engaged in galamsey, so we won't vote for you. Once that electorate, that person knows that this matter, whether NDC, CPP, MPP, it is a national matter. We haven't gotten there yet, and I think we should get there.
Kathleen, Mr. Afeyamak has just made us a comment. Let me seek your opinion. And he said that, look, the politician knows there's a problem, but if he talks about it, he won't be voted for. So politicians have failed us.
Well, I don't know about if it's not just a matter of politicians failed us. I think that, you know, there are supposed to be checks and balances in the system. Where the politician drops it, the civil society should pick it up. Where civil society drops the government institutions, you understand, we are supposed to work together. So if politicians have dropped it, somebody else should pick it up. Somebody should make it an issue in those areas.
We put them there so that they can
I agree with you, but there are political realities, and the politician is telling us what the political realities are. But we need to address it. I mean, it's not enough, it's not acceptable, but others must take it up, because you see, you can't expect people to police themselves all the time. It won't work, you know. But I'm telling you, I believe in where the buck stops, right? If the state should exercise its power to stop galamsey effectively, I'm sure that we will make some headway. They will be able to succeed, because the state power is the ultimate power. The state power is the ultimate power, and we vote people into government for a reason, you know. So if the state should apply, you know, its power, deploy all its resources to ensure that this is a threat to our, you know, this is an existential threat. You get what I mean? It's a threat to our very existence. So why we can't afford to be diplomatic about it, or to play some kind of nice games around it. The state must act on this matter.
On this one. Let me wrap up, Mr. Akpeja. So, in the face of this, where the chief, the landlord, can easily let out a land to be used for illegal mining, perhaps we should be talking about land reforms.
Well, I agree with you. There's a complete need for land administration in this country. Myself and my colleague know there's work in progress in terms of what we need to do, but there's no doubt we need to even tighten some of the laws. I agree partly with what my colleague said about, you see, I believe this country, we all acknowledge the fact that galamsey is causing a lot of problems. Not only galamsey, how many people, or even yourselves, how many people can go to a church behind your house and tell them in the face, your noise level is beyond what, so I'm going to report you to the distance for you to be closed down. Well, I mean, you see, in Ghana, let's face what people shift
the antichrist.
Exactly, people keep shifting the thing, and then it comes to a big animal called government, who is capable of solving all the problems. I'm saying that when it comes to galamsey, before government gets to know, look, if you're digging galamsey in my farm today, which pollutes a water source, which nobody can see apart from me, who does the farming in the bush. What chance does the police have, the DCE have, or even up to the president? They have no chance. So you tell me that I'm saying that if I have,
we must look. We must. The buck has to stop somewhere. We must apportion responsibility.
So you don't get me. I'm saying that if I am doing galamsey in a forest I own at the back of nowhere.
But as long as you're in Ghana, you can't be invisible. I mean, if it's a forest,
you're not being realistic on this.
Maybe not.
No government can see everything.
Okay, so
maybe you are mistaken when I say government. Government has. There are institutions that institutions that take care of the forest. You can't say that this part of the country is completely invisible. There's police.
Unfortunately, we don't have.
There are many.
Did you just mention the chiefs? Afenyomakin just told you that. Honorable Afenyomakin just told you that at a point in time, the chief who actually allows unfortunately.
I'm sorry, I find this making excuses.
Well, okay.
Is it possible?
Is it possible for me?
Mr. Akpeja,
you made your point.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'll come in.
I hope you don't want Kwame to start hurting, because he knows how to.
Oh no. I just want her to understand that her views that everything stops with the.
But are you suggesting that
the reason?
president.
Let me ask you this.
We
Are
have,
you suggesting
we have
that the
rights
state
and
is unable?
responsibilities in this country.
Kwame,
Yes.
let me ask you this.
Yes.
Are you suggesting that the state is unable to deal with this galamsey problem?
No, the state. I've given you. I've given
that the state cannot know
I've given you an example, and I'm saying that assuming a source of a river that is a source of good drinking water to a group of people, including myself somewhere, is in a forest I own 400 square meter, kilometer square. I own it, and I deliberately, maliciously allow a Chinese or something to go and do galamsey there. What chance does the government get to know that I am doing galamsey there? In any case, we are talking about galamsey. Who says that it's only galamsey that pollutes water? Even the big mining companies do that. Big companies do that. And I'm saying that when it comes to pollution, let's not limit this to only about a galamsey. There's all sorts of pollution. And I'm saying that whilst it is the responsibility of government, when we find, and we should make effort to find, and there's no reason to say that we haven't done that. But to say that everything, including what crime I commit in my room today, government should have been able to know that I committed a crime in my room today. That is overstretching the issue about the responsibility.
I think the debate will go on as why then we have a government in place.
But the issue also is that
okay, wrap up for me.
When we talk about government, apart from the very simplistic definition we have, I can elect to use the phraseology government responsibility to include state institutions. Very independent, who for the purpose of enforcement would have to play their role. And they take inspiration or they take directives indirectly or directly from political leadership. So I think we should balance it from that.
Yes, of course, the state should be able to see, because look, if you go to the district assemblies, there are BNI officials who are supposed to work in there. So if a forest at, let's say, or Chimberia Tech community is being illegally mined, I think the BNI officer there should be able to know.
What if you buy into what Afenyo says, that what if the BNI officer is also part of this? What if the chief is also part of it?
Right. For instance, you know this premix fuel, the premix thing. I always ask, we have a district BNI officer. You are supposed to get intelligence, get information to government, get information to the state institutions that this is going on. You are supposed, but it's happening. People are selling broad daylight. Nothing is happening. Let's leave it there.
We have
a collective duty anyway.
I'm sorry, but I think that we should not make excuses for wrongdoing. You know, I think that we must strive as a society to do better. I think that we must strive as government. And when I say government, excuse me, I never said the president. I said government. And government is not just the structure you see in Accra. Government is decentralized to a point. There are institutions at the local government level. There are all kinds of organizations. There are ministries, there are departments, they're spread all over the place. There are agencies. And so when I say government, there's no need for you to get defensive. I'm not talking about the president, even though the buck does stop with him. Because you see, it's a pyramid. Right. You understand? There's one person and it flows down. Everybody in that pyramid must do their part. You can't say that, well, there's a certain corner of the country that is invisible to the state. That I cannot accept, because there are institutions deployed in every nook and cranny of this country. You know, and they are state institutions. You understand? Government is the state. It is not a one person. It is not a political party. It's the state. And state has a responsibility. And that responsibility we must insist on, because that is why we gave them the mandate. You understand? So if you are going to make excuses...
Then you are boiling it down to elected officers, because you are the same person who says that government is not about...
for everything that the government is supposed to do, then why do we have a government? If government cannot be responsible to deliver the things they are supposed... No, you have brought out this argument.
You said elected, we put them there.
No, I mean, I don't understand why you are getting upset about this.
I'm not getting upset.
We'll drop this conversation on this year. Of course, we'll continue to talk about it, but we'll drop it here for now. Move to the Daily Guide newspaper. The front page story has Ningo chiefs reject Sam George's ship, and quickly, also on the front page of the Today newspaper, we're told alarm blows 73,000 plus cedis missing from MPP's campaign fundraising account. Let me start with Mr. Aguja. Now, we're getting into the political season, and of course, you politicians are going to make all kinds of statements. And in this situation, Sam George is reported to have said something against the chiefs in that area were told that what he went there to do, to ask for forgiveness, is being rejected. Now, how do we keep this campaign decorous, ensure politicians don't get on platforms and perhaps abuse the rest of us who vote for them?
Thank you very much. First of all, I must say that it is a story in a newspaper. I have no way of cross-checking. All I know is that Sam George is our candidate for Ningo Pram in terms of parliamentary candidacy.
Right.
I'm hearing for the first time that he said something that the Ningo chiefs are unhappy about, and then he went there to apologize. Let's assume it's even true that he said something that if all politicians, including the two of us here, can look back, maybe even the two of you who are not politicians in quote, if you can look back, you will realize that you probably have said something to somebody who the person deserves an apology. But guess what? You are at liberty because you don't go and present yourself to anybody to make a decision on you, so you can decide on finance and like I don't care whatever he thinks.
Right.
But I think that even if Sam George said anything that some people are unhappy about, and he goes to apologize, I think it's human nature. It's an appropriate thing to do when you offend people. Even if the person is your child, say that I'm sorry, what I said, I didn't mean it, or whatever it is. The person have got the right to forgive you or not forgive you. But I'm going to be cautious not to say that, yes, he said this, and then, yes, he went there, because the truth is, I don't know what he said. I wasn't there, whether he went to apologize. It's a newspaper story. And so all I will say is that everybody can say something that somebody will say, I'm not happy about. If you are somebody with a big heart, you can say that, okay, looking at it, me saying sorry shouldn't be the end of the world. I'm sorry about it. And the person can decide to forgive you or not to forgive you. So it's quite easy. I say that in my days of the ordinary Kwame Agboja, I'm not saying I'm any extraordinary. These days, I must know what I say, what I do.
Okay.
I mean, I will be surprised those days anybody will call me at 4 a.m., 3 a.m. and tell me certain things. And guess what? I must listen to him. You wouldn't have the responsibility. You wouldn't have. I mean, if somebody calls at 3 a.m., you just tell the person, look, it's too early. You go off the phone. But I can't do that because I'll present myself to some people to make a judgment. And guess what? He's going to make a judgment based on that 3 a.m. phone call, not because you didn't provide what you were supposed to provide as a member of parliament. So this is the situation in which we are. But if some did say that and apologize, I say that that's a mark of a leader.
Kathleen, isn't that the reason why politicians should be careful of what they say, particularly when they know that they will be presenting themselves to a group of people to be voted for into power?
Well, ideally, but 2020 vision is particularly clear. I mean, if he has gone to apologize, it's a good thing. I don't see how it's a bad thing.
Even though we're told the chiefs have rejected his apology.
I don't know
and
about
want
this.
him to go back and sit on that same radio station and render the apology there.
That's fair. I mean, if he made the accusation on a particular radio station, even in journalism, when somebody brings a rejoinder, as much as possible, you should give it the same prominence that you gave the original article that elicited the rejoinder to start with. So for the chiefs to say that, well, there's nothing wrong with that. If I were him, I would just do it. And then I will be careful next time not to be careful, how I interact with people, and in my bid to go and get political power, to be careful, the toes and heads that I step on just to get ahead. You might step on a toe that you cannot just discard after you stepped on it. So it's a step in the right direction that he's going to render an apology.
Mr. Markin, you're a politician, and I'm sure you're just making sure you don't step on any toe. You can be. Well, can you kneel down for 1.5 hours begging?
If the political conditions so demand,
you do it.
I will get compelled to do it.
Okay.
Now, let's face some reality. Being in political communication is a very difficult thing to do, especially when you are confronted with issues such as hearsay matters. You have to tread cautiously. Sam is a good friend, and we share the same esprit de corps. I would want to wish him well. It doesn't matter where he belongs. He has to succeed. We all have to succeed together because, look, the generation ahead of us, they've done their bit, and we would have to take over and also make our contribution. It's unfortunate he slipped, as alleged, but he's taking steps to correct the wrong. And I would want to leave it as it is. But you introduce a more important matter, which I want all of us to also consider, about the issues that confront Mother Ghana and the role we want to play to resolve those problems, and also balancing it with responding or ignoring certain attacks on our persons. Look, forget about the fact that this man I'm going to mention is an MPP. Nana Akufo-Addo is one person that has suffered so much in terms of people calling him names or attributing things that is not him, that he's not done, all because of politics. You see people hearing Nanado's name and they would not want to associate his name with national issues, achievement, but would want to deal with issues that they consider must be hammered to hit him hard as his weakness. And his inability in the past to respond to some of these things, ignore, has ended up into tainting him in one way or the other, so that people, the ordinary person, has even believed the untruth. I have taken a personal decision in my political career. I would go by issues. But if you dare, as a person, either my competitor, whoever, you attack my person, I will respond. I have taken a personal decision. If we are here to debate, let's deal with issues. But if you attack my person, Afenyo Market, you want to tell me I am this, I am that. Okay, I will respond for good reasons, so that you will stop. If you realize that, hey, if I go at him, the man will not be quiet, next time you'll be compelled to do what is right. Or if somebody else is listening or watching, he would advise himself that, oh, because all of us have weaknesses in one way or the other. Who is a perfect human being? There's none. We're trying to serve our nation in whatever capacity. You could be in corporate, madam in communication, somebody in academia, somebody political. So let us, at all material times, encourage each other to center our debate on matters that affect the nation and that will help Ghana. If we do that, you wouldn't get somebody trying to undo somebody, trying to say, oh, punch this. You know, people are quick at sending text. Oh, I know about this guy. He's an ex-convict, when they know that the person has not even been into court before. Somebody will publish something, and today, somebody will rely on newspaper publication, say, oh, I've gotten him. When it's happening to somebody, the person is happy. When it's about him, he says that, oh, it's not true. That's how it is. So media, it's your job. Please make sure you, election year, we go by issues. I would want to plead with the chiefs. Sam is a brother. I would want to plead with the chiefs. Sam is a brother. Sometimes it hits me hard, but it's part of the business.
I thought it's mischief more than chiefs.
No, let's face it. Look, we all have our low points, don't we?
We do.
We all have our low points. Who is a perfect man? I did a program some time ago. When I go home, Madam said, "Oh, honey, you shouldn't, honey." I said, "Really?" Or hating me, no, or oh, you could have ignored. Then later, a good friend, a communication consultant called me, said, "Oh, you could have," I said, "Yo." Somebody will call you, say, "Yeah, you." It's one of those. So I would want to urge. Sam is in this business. He knows. He knows his way around. Okay, he could have, because I listened to him on Asempa. Perhaps when he heard the report from the alleged statement made by the chiefs, perhaps he could have taken it easy rather than to respond. But you see, sometimes you get emotionally charged.
All right.
I have taken a position that I will never respond to hearsay. They say somebody can call you, honorable, tune into this station. There was a time somebody said Nyahota Maklo was on, is it GH1 or something? He's running you down. A very senior citizen sent me a text. I should call in, somebody's on Choice Kasapa. Then they said, oh, Ben Epson is running you down somewhere. I only call Uncle Ben. What's yesterday? I took, because you can get very emotional. And if you are not careful, you will say things that you will later regret. So we are learning. And I wish somewhere.
Okay, I'm grateful, Mr. Bakin. I'm grateful for time. Let's quickly tie in this one. The fact that we're told that the some monies is.
Well, I mean, you said you don't rely on newspaper. When you got to Sam, you see, when he got to Sam, he said he's hearing the first time. This matter that is coming, I am expecting that consistent.
He's hearing linear story for the first time.
So you wouldn't want to. I'm watching you. I'm watching you.
Mr. Bakin,
I'm watching you.
Okay, all right. Okay,
I'm watching you.
All right.
Consistency.
Have you read the story?
He's a trap. I expect your disclaimer.
Oh, I didn't listen to that radio.
Oh,
you and I came here.
Right. But the publication to you, you disclaimed. You said, "Oh, the public." You are reading the first.
The paper.
Which one?
You never gave it back to me. So I didn't.
Okay,
Same way this matter that is coming out.
Which one?
Don't worry. It's coming out.
Oh, I can see you are writing a preamble.
Okay, all right. Okay, yes, he set a trap for you. I don't know how you'll be able to get out.
Yeah, because you said that on Sam George, and I expect the same. I mean, the same approach.
So we're told that 73,900 cities missing from the MPP's fundraising account in Kumasi, the Swami branch of the Stanbic Bank, and of course, it's a story that is suggesting that the chairman of the party and one person, Madam Janet Abam, were those who signed the check to have that money taken out. We're also told that Nana-Addo has been informed about the development and he was not happy about it. We're told that the party hierarchy is also trying to shelve some persons involved. It's been alleged. Okay, we've been told by the newspaper.
No,
okay.
The newspaper is alleged.
Okay,
right.
is that
the language used?
Mr. Market, okay, all right. Mr. Market, I agree.
You've been told by which credible source?
Okay, I was referring.
Okay,
I was referring.
It's been alleged.
Okay, so the Today newspaper is alleged that the party is shelving some persons who are involved in this particular transaction that has gone bad. And Mr. Kwame, let's see how Mr. Afinya's trap will not find you.
You are a very sincere person.
Well, the truth is that that is a news story, a newspaper story.
Okay, all right.
In fact, I've not read it.
That's right.
But I know very little. I know something small about.
All right, let's go.
Okay, let's assume that the story. Let's assume the story is true. Let's face it. All political parties raise funds to carry out their activities. All political parties have different shades of people. Like my brother said, it is possible that just because somebody doesn't like you, anything, and I've had a situation where somebody owes me money, and then the person says to somebody that if I go and chase him or her for the money, what he will do is to start shouting that I'm harassing him and I don't want him to pay his children's school fees and other things. And then by the time people get to know the truth, at least I've got some damage on me. It happens. It is not it's not the first time I've heard things about fundraising, expenditure at hotels and other things. But what they think of NPP, let's face it, that there were even committees set up in the past to investigate who owns a foreign account, who activated it, who deactivated it, all those things. I'm happy that they said when Nana, this is still an allegation, I don't know whether it's true, when Nana heard the story, he was unhappy about it. I hope they'll put in place measures that would stop this, because you see, if you're trying to govern a country, the basic way of managing your own domestic things, if you are somebody who is extravagant in your home, in your own life, when you get political power, you will do the same thing, because we are made of character. So I'm happy that Nana is not happy about this one. He will take steps to address the issue so that the alleged malfeasance in Ashanti region would stop. But I have to be honest, I don't know the truth about this paper. It's also on the face value of what has been published, because I wouldn't attempt to say that it is true for somebody to say that.
I'm sure. Oh no, he's managed his way out of the trap. Kathleen, let me pick your thought on this.
So I also haven't read the story, but I would like to ask if you have read the story. Now, the allegations, is there a proper attribution?
Not at all. Not at all.
Is there a proper attribution? Are they saying that, they know they did, they went to the bank, they got this official, they have a bank statement?
No,
do we have any of that?
No,
Good.
not in the
we
story.
have quotes from any of the people who are named as having done wrong? Do you have any quotes here?
No, not at all.
Okay. Do we have any named
today's
sources?
No named sources. It's the paper's own sources.
This is a very serious allegation. You do not write a story like this with no attribution, no quotes, no named sources, and expect you as a newspaper to be taken seriously. It is a very serious story. You understand? You are making very serious allegations that border on crime.
Right.
You understand? So you must make the story has to be tight. The story must have people who are willing to, you understand? Otherwise, wait, build the story. Find your sources. You understand? Make it a very solid story that cannot be questioned before you put it out. I have a problem in that regard. The story may be true, you understand? But if you come without considering the nature of the subject matter, if you come without anything that will help you to, you know, for people to see that the story is credible, then you're creating a problem for yourself, because who said what? It is alleged by this person and that person, and there's no name, there's no quote, and there's no source. And there's no attribution. If there was a bank statement, even, you can say that, look, these transfers were made, I got this bank. If it was Kweku Bakun, you will have documents. You understand? so I mean, I'm sorry, I don't.
And even the fact that the one who did the story is suggesting that he tried to reach the chairman of the party, and yet didn't get him.
Should have tried harder.
All right,
I'm also looking. I know you share this platform a lot. I'll also be watching the next time it's about a certain whether you will say that you don't believe.
You know,
I'll be looking.
All right.
Just the way I'm working. I will watch.
Mr. Markin.
Okay.
Mr. Markin, so for you, has this come to your notice? You're a member of the party.
This is a discredited story.
Okay.
It has no substance, and I would want to rely wholly on the submissions by my able sister without more.
I see. Okay.
Not mine.
No. All right. Well, let's quickly look at the BNFT.
Well, he would want me to respond to him.
He
He attempted a mischief, but because he couldn't land properly, I'm able to forgive him and ignore same.
Okay.
And I will yank those submissions.
Don't send my apology to
Can you give me the BNFT? Let's quickly look at this story. And we're told that interest rates spike is causing rise in bad loans. And the story is suggesting that because rates have risen significantly since the beginning of the year, reflecting an increase in the stock of non-performing loans on the bank's books. That's according to a central bank data that this paper chanced on. Now, the latest Bank of Ghana microeconomic and financial data report released on Friday shows that the average lending rate in the banking sector was 27.5% at the start of the year, which has increased to 32.1%. Now, we're also told by the paper that banks are suffering from a rise in non-performing loans, with a ratio of bad loans jumping from 14.6% in January to 16.2% at the end of the first quarter of the year. Now, this underscores the nerves surrounding a slowdown in the country's economic activities. Kathleen, let me start with you. Because of these high rates, people are dodging. I mean, they're refusing to pay back what they take from the banks.
But where are the high rates coming from?
The banks, of course.
No, but where's the source of the? I mean, banks don't just operate in a vacuum. So where is the source of the high rates?
Oh, of course. According to the paper, it's from the Bank of Ghana, the central bank. The central bank.
Well, therein lies the answer to. So why is the central bank going down this route of high interest rates? For me, those are the questions I would ask. Where does the buck stop? You understand? And we are in the middle of an economic crisis. I mean, this thing is indicative of that. Businesses are folding up. People are losing employment. There's a problem with the economy as we sit here, and I don't think that anybody can deny that. You know, this is just one aspect of a problem that we are facing. You know, so I'm hoping that whoever is in charge can do something about it. I hope that my friend here will not say that the citizens should also. I don't know what citizens can do about about interest rate, but somebody is in charge of.
This invitation.
Somebody is in charge of managing the economy.
Okay.
And this is not a good indicator. So maybe we need the person to tell us why.
This is happening.
Why this is happening.
Kathleen, I'm grateful. Mr. Agboja, let's look at this. Bad loans rising because interest rates are simply too high for people to pay.
Well, I agree that as a person, if I have my way, I'll have an interest rate of 0 if I borrow. But that is not a reality. It is also true that I don't remember the last time a bank in Ghana made a loss.
I see.
Really?
Yes, I don't remember.
Okay.
Just to come to your point, the fact that interest rates are rising doesn't signify an economic crisis.
Really?
Yes, every country interest rates go up and down. So
I remember. I'm sorry.
And you see, you can measure the economy in many ways. And I am in an industry that is a built environment. I'm an architect by practice. And I say that when I look at my industry, the volume of activity, building, not only government, private sector and everything, I have no doubt there is a level of steam in the economy because poor people don't put up houses. And there's no country that everybody owns a house. So there's an activity in the economy. I was the weekend. I just took a casual tour around some few places, and I was hearing Pizza Hut. The fast food giant came to Ghana, and something struck me. People were in a queue to just buy pizza. And when I asked somebody, said I've been here for 3 hours to buy, a slice of pizza. I'm not saying things are the best in terms of our economy. We all know. This morning I woke up I monitor a few things somewhere, and then I was realizing the naira has gone to like almost 350 naira to $1. It's almost, and this is a country that produces almost 2 billion barrels of oil a day. Ghana is even not producing 100,000.
What is your point?
My point is that the issue about performance of interest rate is partly demand and supply issue. The economists will tell you there are so many reasons. Look, if I'm a borrower and I'm borrowing money, if a lot of people are coming through the door, of course, what it means is I have to hike it because I can take a little bit more money from them. But it is not as simple as because I've heard about an interest rate rising, then she used the word economy in crisis. Economy in crisis doesn't see the level of activity I'm talking about in the built environment. More. Look, people have carried this thing somewhere. You remember not too long ago, people go around saying that even businesses are folding up and are going to relocate to Côte d'Ivoire and other things. And we challenge people, name one business that closed doors in Ghana and has relocated to Côte d'Ivoire. Not a single person. Maybe she will be able to mention one business.
I didn't talk about business in Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah, okay. But no, you said
okay. Several small businesses, especially
I get you the chance to react.
Folded up in my no.
I get you the chance to react.
Several cold stores folded. Yes, no, but he must have to respond to this. It's an accusation.
I'll get you the chance to react, Kathleen. Kwame, please, did you wrap up?
Yeah.
Okay,
wrapping up, I see that this economy is on the right track. We could have been better. If I had my way, interest rate would have been lower than this.
Even
but
negative,
I can see more traction. When all the things, activities by government generate some economic activity. When we lay asphalt through our capital cities, it generates some activities, not only for the contractors, but for the material, people selling material. The guy who gets the job at that place can pay the children's school fees, can buy this thing. So there's an activity. This is what we need to do to make it even more so that there will be more activity in the economy. But an interest rate hike does not signify an economy in crisis.
Mark, is that the case with your opinion?
Well, I'm not an economist. And I would want to express a view which is a position generally held by the ordinary Ghanaian. And what is that view? It is expensive to buy electricity today. Almost more twice as much as you would pay into electricity. Same would have been paid for rent some years back. So that's a problem in the first place. He asked of an example. Fridays, it's a Sakumono. It is, according to the CEO, it is expensive to buy ECG prepaid as compared to buying diesel to power his plant. And he's sending people home because business is slow. People are not patronizing the place. But you see, this government is sometimes staying away from the truth and shying away from same, and in a state
you promised that was not part of political.
In a state of self-denial.
Kwame,
I've not heckled you on this. On this occasion, I've not heckled
Mr. Markin, please go.
Direct your answers elsewhere. I beg you.
Go on. Well,
Allow me.
I'm running out of them.
Now, Côte d'Ivoire example. Côte d'Ivoire, they went through some political instability. The economy is single-digit inflation, and they are having interest rates.
What's the size of the economy?
Please. Let me finish. I beg you. I'm able to make my point. We all went to the Eurobond, and yours was 10.25. They got it less than 8%. It means that you are judged as a high-risk country. The economy is in crisis. Simplicity. You even go and borrow for certain projects, and then the central bank will take everything and tell you that you owe them. Where did those monies go into? Recently, you had money you claimed they were idle funds. You invested it at a bank, and the bank gave the money back to you at a cost.
Kwame, wrap up. Mr. Markin, wrap up for me.
So,
wrap up for me.
If today we are being told that businesses are suffering, that is the reality. Well, as a government, you may want to say it is not true, but the truth is that that is so. Now, I'm done with that, but I would want to
briefly. I have run out of
30 seconds.
Just 30 seconds
to make an appeal. This appeal goes to the Ministry of Education and the Office of the President. The University of Education in my constituency, the council's tenure has expired since 2013. They've been awarding degrees. They've appointed the vice chancellor. They've been doing all manner of things. I am pleading with them. Act 679 of 2004, Section 8 of the Act is clear on the term of council, which is the highest decision-making body. People want to take the matter to court. It will be very embarrassing to the university as an academic institution. So, Mr. President, Chief of Staff, Minister of Education, quickly rectify the situation, appoint a new council to quickly run the university. It is illegal a council remaining in office after their term of office has expired for over 3 years.
Alexander Afeya Markin is a member of parliament for Futu. Kathleen Addy is a communication consultant, and Kwame Agboja is a member of parliament for Adaklu of the NDC. Gentlemen and lady, I'm grateful we've run out of time. I wanted to do the reaction, but please, next to where you come, I'll give that opportunity.
No problem.
Of course. I'm grateful for your time this morning. Those of you who stayed out there to be part of the conversation, we're also grateful you joined us.